There. How's that?
So
Sound a
much
little bit better, probably. Still ugly.
This is a dangerous groups that we're dealing with now.
It is bedlam. It is pandemonium. It is fandemonium.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to 24/7 Bills Fandemonium presents the Kagan Report. 4-0, baby.
4-0.
4-0. What a great start. We got the first quarter of the season done, and we won them all. That's always a good thing. Tonight, joining me, we have Scott.
Hey-o.
You just turn on your volume. And we have Swank.
Yo.
And I'm your host, Jared. Tonight, we are going to be sipping on some beverages as usual. Swank, I'm going to go with you first. What are you sipping on tonight?
I am sipping on some Sierra Nevada Hazy Little Thang IPA.
I like that one.
It's a good one.
I have a couple of those in my Frigitator. Scott, what do you got?
Blue Moon. Bill's Booze of the Year. 24/7 Bill's Booze of the Year. Blue Moon. This one, I got the variety pack going mango wheat with this guy tonight.
Ooh.
A little fruity action, huh?
Little mango in your life.
Sometimes you need a little mango in your life.
Tonight, I'm switching it up. I'm going with Founders All Day IPA Session Ale. Tis good. 4.7 alcohol. It's not too heavy, especially after yesterday's game. All right. Like I said, we you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Our handles are in the tracker below, along with updated stats, injuries, Bills news, 24/7 Bills Fandemonium news. We are 4-0, guys, and it is, like I said, it's a great start. I have a big thing written down here, and I know we're going to talk about him, but it's pretty much, it says, do we need to talk about Josh Allen today?
Yeah.
I mean,
Of course
I feel
we
like
do.
it's been, I know the first 4 weeks have pretty much been the same. He continues to prove everybody wrong. He's patient, he's accurate, and he's winning the ball game. Swank, I'm going to go with you. You want to elaborate a little bit more on Josh Allen's play yesterday?
I mean, beautifully consistent. It's a big disappointment that, his season low so far is 288 yards and 2 passing touchdowns with a rushing touchdown. I mean, we're super disappointed because, that was the high mark last year, right? Like everybody said, he couldn't hit that 300 game. He's just been playing out of his mind, confident. We saw a little bit of squirrel Josh Allen come out again with that, like stashing nuts and that sack, man. That was like the only play I could say, besides the one where he was trying to Brett Favre that underhand roller to Diggs, which turned out to be an incredibly exciting, almost awesome play. But this is what you get, right? We're lucky he landed on his non-throwing arm. We're lucky that he came back. I wasn't really looking forward to seeing Matt Barkley as one of our other admins so graciously mentioned in our chat yesterday. But, man, I mean, he's on fire, dude. I want to talk about so many things from this game, but I'm trying not to get ahead of myself. But that bomb to Diggs, where Diggs mossed the secondary for Las Vegas, right after Josh Norman punched the ball out and got that fumble recovery, man, that is like the succession of plays that you've been just craving for like 20 years. When the defense makes a huge play with one of your most energetic, vibrant, comeback story players with his first game, right? And he makes a play. And then the very next play, offensive possession, you bomb it down to your biggest playmaker, and he makes the most beautiful catch. And you can see him jawing and Josh Norman on the sideline jawing, and it just, oh my God, man, it was so great.
Those are the kind of good plays that good teams make.
Yeah.
Time and time again, you see a huge defensive play followed by a stretch the defense, go deep, and connect on a big play. And that's exactly what we saw Josh Allen trust. Jared, you mentioned do we need to talk about Josh Allen? I think the thing we need to talk about with Josh Allen is that he's trusting. I mean, he trusted his wide receivers first week. It was crazy. And it's just getting better and better. And he's putting the ball where only our wide receivers can get it, and they're going up and getting that football. And again, to see that low probability, high excitement play following a turnover is the kind of momentum without a crowd. It's the kind of momentum and the hype that you want to see the Bills. You want to see those kind of plays happen after a turnover. Oh, that was so exciting.
Hell yeah.
I think I read somewhere today that Diggs has 7 contested receptions, and he's got them all. So that's always a good thing. If you can trust your receivers to go up and get that ball when you need to, that's going to be the reason for the success. I saw a little bit of tonight's game. I'm watching a little bit of KC and Patriots. I think the Patriots are losing. But I watched the other previews throughout the day of other games. The coverage on the receivers that are catching the ball on us are spot on. They're like, the receivers have to make the catch. I'm saying our defense is smothering their receivers, right? And in order for them to make the catch, it has to be a good throw. And they are making good throws and catches. For Josh Allen and our receivers, every catch that we have, besides some of them, a lower percentage, they're wide open. So Josh doesn't, when he needs to put it somewhere where only his receiver can get it, he's going to put it there. But he hasn't really had to do much of that because a lot of his passes are wide open. The guys are 3 or 4 yards off of him, and that is huge.
I know. Next Gen does stats where they show at most teams average separation between wide receivers and corners. I personally haven't seen those numbers, but you're right. A lot of those crossing patterns, even a lot of those comebacks, with Diggs being the best route runner in the NFL, of course he's going to be wide open on the deep comebacks, but they are separating. I mean, Josh Allen's still putting the ball where he has to put them, but the separation that these wide receivers are getting on these defensive backs. Granted, we've played some lackluster defensive backfields, but again, they're NFL players. You have to cover. They're wide open. And he's not seeing a whole bunch of other wide open people, which is exciting too. Sometimes he's going to, instead of dump the ball for 5 yards to Beasley or Knox for wide open 5-yard pass, he's going to stretch it out because he believes in his receivers, and leading the league in 20-plus yard completions shows that. But, yeah, they're wide open. These receivers are making it easy for him.
But wait, guys, isn't this the same Josh Allen that's not accurate? The same Josh Allen he's throwing 71% completion percentages here. Man, that's crazy.
There's one play, and I don't know if we can isolate it, but they had the view of the Josh Allen rolling out to the right, and they did a replay, and Diggs was lined up on the left side, and he did like a deep what are you going to call that, Scott? Roundup, where he crosses the field. It's not just your normal in, but it's a deep
Post.
in, we'll say.
Post.
Post. He wasn't going to the post, but it was a post. From the view, you saw Josh Allen roll out to the right, and then just as Diggs was breaking open, he threw that ball. And Diggs had some good coverage on him, but the placement of that ball right by the sideline was just. Can you imagine trying to make that as a quarterback, couch quarterback, or just your normal fan trying to make that pass in the backyard when you're playing with your buddies? It doesn't happen. We forget.
I can do it.
And the athleticism of these guys. What's that?
I can make that pass.
Scott, without pattern. No, but you know what I mean? We forget how talented these guys are. And then when you see that play happen, the elite quarterbacks make that throw, and it is just jaw-dropping. It's amazing.
He's turning into it like right in front of our eyes. It's exactly the plan that Bean and McDermott had, and it's just super refreshing to see it come to fruition. You know what I mean? Like he's doing everything that we want him to do. So as long as he can stay healthy, man. But man, he brings out the dog in all these wide receivers, man. That Beasley catch, like where he got upended and pinwheeled, and he came up, popped right up. You know, that's huge. Like if that happened in Buffalo, in front of a full stadium, the place would have just blown up. You know,
the stadium would still be echoing right now as we speak.
Absolutely. You know, and everybody wants to play for him because he's that kind of guy that puts his body out there. They said it, you know.
Right.
Bees made that comment. Singletary made that comment. It's super special right now.
Yeah, and you hate to wish any kind of injury on anybody, but Josh Allen did get hurt on a called pass play that he just tried to extend a little bit. It wasn't a quarterback keeper. It wasn't a called run for Allen. So those people that say running the ball is dangerous, I'm one of them. Mm-hmm. He got hurt on a quarterback extending a play. So good thing it was his non-throwing shoulder. I'm just happy for that.
There was a couple passes yesterday that he threw away that I was like, look at him. Like he was playing such a complete game, and he was throwing them away when he needed to throw them away. Like, I mean, aside from that one he got hurt on, and then the other one where he took the squirrel sack, you know, he played a damn near perfect game yesterday, I think.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
He also threw it to 9 different receivers once again.
Wow.
So he is spreading that ball.
What about that? What about that jet sweep to my boy Isaiah McKenzie on the 4th and 1? Oh my God!
That was ballsy.
How beautiful was it? It was like perfectly executed, and
let's not forget that play. That play was that was on Josh Allen. Remember, he didn't McKenzie kind of do a real quick motion.
Yeah, he went in motion super fast, and Josh dumped it to him as soon as he turned around. It was like perfect.
Josh Allen, he needed to know that it was a man defense, which it was, and that with that corner stumbling when McKenzie cut it back, that's what made it wide open.
Yeah,
and huge. And it's smart. It's Dable's calling smart plays this year.
I know, man. Oh God, it just hurts me. It hurts my heart.
And I hate to say that we're going to lose them to the Texans next year because O'Brien just got fired.
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about that already. I mean, I'd see the overwhelming support that the Bills Mafia and the Fandemonium is giving to Dable because of this firing in Houston. Pretty much what they're saying is he's got to do what's best for him and his family and in his life. So we want him to stay here, get us a Super Bowl, and then carry on with your coaching career. But he's going to leave some players that are doing great things. And like I said last week, they're educating themselves on how the game's played. The guy who's behind Daboll has been learning from him. So we'll see what happens in the next year. We got week 5 coming up. We'll focus on that. But be kind of foolish not to think of opportunities that our coaches are going to take in the future when they come up.
Well, I think Frazier's set for a while. He agreed to that assistant coach position.
Frazier just fits. Do you think he wants to be a head coach anywhere?
I think he got his crack at it. I don't know. See, that's the thing is like with these guys, like who's the guy from the Cheatriots that committed to Indianapolis?
Josh Daniels.
Josh Daniels, right? So he's like 1 in a million, where like any other coordinator or assistant coach is running to whatever team is offering them a head coaching position like that. You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's just like that natural progression, you know. I'm sure it's great. He loves the guys and all that stuff. But if somebody's going to make him a head coach, like, he's going to go with the blessing of, like, all the players and all the coaches. And, you know, I never thought in 2020, this is how crazy of a year this is, that I would say I am going to be very sad to see Dable leave. I am.
Yeah.
He's calling.
For those of
some
you just
crazy
tuning
games.
in, he's not leaving. We just I
Yeah.
just made an assumption because Mr. O'Brien there for the Texans, the head coach there, just got fired. So there's going to be a vacant spot at the end of the year. No, but I'm liking everything Dable's doing. He's calling an amazing offense for the first 4 games.
Yeah.
And they still ran 40% of the time, so they've been sticking to that ratio, so it's a good thing.
Dude, and Motor is a beast. He is running so well, and it's so underrated because the passing offense is blowing up. But oh my God, he can make the first guy miss every time. I don't know how he's not a household name right now. You know, he's just, and he's so fun. You know, I don't know. He just pops up, and he's always like smiling, but man.
He knows how not to take the big hit too.
Yeah.
I hope I'm not jinxing him, but he not only he avoids tackles, but when he gets tackled, it's not straight on.
No.
So he knows how to avoid that. And hopefully we get Zach Moss back. That change of pace, I kind of was itching for that in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
You know, ground and pound time. Kind of wishing Zach Moss could show up, but he was injured. So hopefully this week.
When they robbed John Brown of that touchdown, which was an amazing pass and an amazing catch and definitely a touchdown. 2 weeks in a row, I saw somebody on Twitter, part of the Mafia, that posted, last week I learned what an interception is, and this week I learned what a non-touchdown is. You know,
That's crazy.
These are like crazy calls for the
Don't
amount
forget
of,
week 1, we learned what a field goal was.
Exactly, right? So 3 games out of 4 so far. But yeah, when they lined up on the goal line, and I was like, oh my God, Yeldon's in the backfield. I was like, he's not going to give it to Yeldon to take across the line. And I like Yeldon, dude. I really do like Yeldon, but I like him catching balls out of the backfield, and he's got great hands like that. But I don't think I definitely didn't want him having the goal line touch, like getting it across the end zone. So I'm glad they gave it to Josh. But there was that brief second where I was like, man, he's hurt now, his shoulder. Are they gonna let him put his body out there? And they did.
Right.
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful.
It was fucking beautiful.
Just a reminder, anybody who's viewing tonight's show right now, don't be afraid to comment, ask questions, get involved. We'll do our best to get you up here and talk about your comments. So
Talk about your Bills, our Bills, your 24/7 Bills Pandemonium.
Bills.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of bad calls, and I hate to go back to bad calls, but what happened to that Carr fumble?
Dude,
They blew the ball dead or something? Or I mean,
they said
I
that
know
his forward progress had stopped, but they didn't blow the whistle. So even if he was like, they kept showing the motion like he was like, oops, yeah, he was doing that. He was like shoving the ball like kind of in the direction of like whatever player was back there, but it was still a backwards pass behind the line of scrimmage. So that should have been a fumble. 100% it should have been a fumble. And they were like, oh no, forward progress, blah blah blah. I don't know.
I know Andre Roberts had a huge punt return.
I was just going to say,
on that
Andrew
play.
Roberts. Mike, let's talk about Andrew Roberts a little bit here.
Let's talk about my boy. You know that he's leading the league in punt return yards and second in kickoff return yards, right? That's what
I did not know that.
hearing it everywhere.
He's going to break one of these days.
He is. I thought he was going to break that punt, man. Oh my God, they were so juiced up. But yeah, man. Everywhere I look today, people were talking about why doesn't a team want Andre Roberts on their team? All these people that were like, cut Andre Roberts, blah, blah, blah. And I know there was a couple on this show, and that's okay. But, like, you know, he's just, like, so consistent and so good at that position. And that one thing is as important as having a good place kicker. You know what I mean? He just
Right.
he can flip a field like that. And
Well, you know, Bajorquez isn't going to flip the field. Man, another disappointing game. I hate to bring him up now. But he doesn't seem to be able to pin the ball unless it's a 60, 70-yard punt. If it's something that he just got to dump inside the 20, he can't do it.
no, it bummed me out, man, because I thought last week he did a pretty good job. He had that bombing 72-yarder or whatever.
He did have that long one.
Every other week, so
Yeah. Well, and this is the thing. When you're playing a team like the Chiefs, that stuff's not
can't.
going to fly, man. You got to get every little advantage you can get. So,
You ain't kidding.
I want to go back to Andre Roberts really quick. With his returns, he's one of those guys who not only when you flip the field position, it's going to add momentum to your team, but you see the way he acts after he does that?
oh, yeah.
He gets everybody fired up. Everyone's on the sideline getting fired up. And I make that point because in the past couple of years, we've had great leadership. We've had great players coming in that have shown the leadership, but we've never really had those fire guys. And this offseason, Andre Roberts has been there with that fire, but adding Diggs, he was John the whole game. Adding that fire to that offense. He was telling these cornerbacks and safeties that I'm going to be here all day. And when you get somebody that does that, it's going to intimidate the secondary, right?
Right?
Yeah, unless you're
Yeah.
Abrams. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Well, he did. He got under his skin too.
Oh, yeah.
Dick is willing to do that. He's going to be that guy in our offense. And then when you go to the defense, Josh Norman, he was jibber jabbing all day when he got his chance to play. What a great start for him. You know, he got pulled in there because of Levi Wallace's injury, and hopefully he recovers quickly. But
Yeah.
when he got his opportunity, you could tell he was knocking a couple of the dust spider webs off, but he started to play, and when he had that turnover,
Dude, that second
gosh,
half.
he
That
brought him
second
back.
half, he was playing lights out. Like,
That was
Yeah.
he
that was a
looked
veteran
like
move, that
old.
fumble.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. He looked like old Josh Norman out there. He looked like exactly what everybody hoped that he was going to look like when he came and started for the Bills. And I don't see, like, I think Levi's going to be out for a week or two. I don't know if it's a high ankle or low ankle. He was on crutches during the locker room speech, so there's a lot of speculation about what it is and how long he's going to be out and all that stuff. And I like Levi Wallace, and I really want him to be a good player. But if Josh Norman, who has been sitting in the boxes watching this team play, tweeting out how much he wants to be on the field, tweeting out about how great this team is, it's the best organization he's ever played for, this is the best team he's ever played for, like, I want that dude on the field. You got Mario Addison saying Josh Norman came out and he supplemented that emotional response that we get from a live crowd. He juiced us up, and he made a play, and we made plays after that. And I want that guy on the field all the time. I don't care, you say he's old, you say whatever. Like, he didn't play like he was old yesterday.
He turned that game around.
Yes, he did. And, that's the difference. It's kind of what I was saying about it when he was playing for Washington. Everybody, he's washed up, blah, blah. He's too old, he's losing juice, all this stuff. It's like he didn't have a team. He had nobody to help him out down there. It was a one-man show. And now you're on a defense that you're comfortable with a ton of playmakers. And they're all trying to gel, as every defense in the NFL is trying to gel right now, because obviously we're having, 52-point games, like, consistently every week, And you got Micah Hyde saying, like, look, we weren't able to live tackle even once, like, during the scrimmage. That was the closest we got, right? So people are still getting adjusted to it.
Right.
Yeah, I want that dude there. I want him on the field all the time.
Yep.
Levi or not, let Levi earn his spot back, and I want Norman to be there until he proves that he can't do it. That's the way I feel right now.
You bring up a great point with the defensive struggles. We can touch a little bit more on the defense. The fact that they have struggled a little bit here and there. That fourth quarter, I hope that's what we see for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But it is. These are I mentioned it in shows before. These first 3 or 4 games are going to be like preseason. They got to feel what's going on, and every defense is like this. And Frazier, sorry to say, to the NFL, he's a guy that will figure it out. So now we're coming into week 5. We're 4-0. We're ahead of the game here. Look for that defense, and I'm a very optimistic Bills fan, so this is obviously going to be what I say. Look for this defense to start showing up. That, like I said, that fourth quarter was that's the defense that we've expected to see for the last couple of years. And now it's time for Frazier to take off and run with it.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And it is a different defense with Norman out there, so they'll be excited to see. A couple points on the defense. I know they are still letting up quite a bit of rushing yards, but they did do pretty good against Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
They actually did very well. You kind of get lost in the whole passing attack for Carr and the gang, but they snuffed him pretty well. And then Milano, did you guys see that play? Milano covering Jacobs out of the backfield right on his tail.
Yeah, he cut him off like a quarterback does.
Yep. And yeah. I agree. I think that fourth quarter defense, I think we're starting to see what we're gonna see in our defense from here on out. I'm gonna say it again. I say it every week. I just wish I scribble notes during the game, and then by the third and fourth quarter.
Can you show them? Can you show them what your notes look
Yes.
like by the end of the
So,
game?
Ready? Beginning, nice and easy. And the game, blah blah blah. And most of that's just saying, why aren't we blitzing? Why aren't we blitzing? And yeah, that could be the booze writing for me. I just wish Frazier would blitz more. I know that's probably not what he's scheming. But I hate to say, but even some of the blitzes he called this past week against the Raiders, they didn't make it home. So concerned. I don't know. I just wish they would blitz a little more, especially on the third and longs. What, Jared?
Quarterbacks are going to have all day to sit there and pick the defense apart because there's no crowd. There's nobody cheering, so they can hear everything. Yeah. How many times did Carr do the fake cadence snap, and then the linebacker would come up, and then 9 times out of 10, the fake come up, they actually went when the ball was snapped. That plays.
Jared, that's a great point. If there's silence and the quarterback can kind of tell based on the defensive calls if they're going to blitz or not, you'd hate to give away your tell. So maybe that's why they aren't blitzing as much, because as soon as a professional quarterback can pick up on a blitz call, they're going to tear that defensive apart. They'll throw the ball where the blitz is coming from. So you're right. Maybe that does play a role in it. The quietness is allowing the quarterbacks to read that linebacker call a little better.
Yeah.
That could quite possibly be it.
That's a huge part of McDermott and Frazier's defense too, is like blitzing those linebackers, or at least showing blitz, safety blitz, linebacker blitz, all that movement back and forth. And if you can hit a cadence hard enough to where you get Milano to show that he's really committed to coming, I mean, that's got to look a little bit different than like running up to the line and backing off. A good quarterback's going to tell. And I think that Carr is a good quarterback, man.
Yeah, I agree.
That one rollout pass that he threw down to Aguilar, the catch was amazing, but the pass was just like, he looked like Peyton Manning in his prime with that little prance out and that flick. And, he's good. And the other thing about the line not getting home on him, he was getting the ball out quick, man. Like, he wasn't standing around forever. There was a couple times where I was like, come on, like, hit him. But other than that, I don't know. He was definitely on point with his game too. And I think they're a good team. I
mean, they beat Breeze.
Yeah, they beat the Saints.
So if you can beat the Saints, you're doing something. Breeze is getting old, but Breeze is Breeze. So
yeah,
if you can match points and beat the Saints, then you're doing something all right.
Yeah.
You mentioned.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say really quick on the Milano thing. Dodson got the nod. He got bumped up, so he replaced Klein, who was struggling after Milano went out. And I just wanted to know what you guys thought about that.
Thought about Dodson?
Yep.
I think he got torched a little bit when he came in 2 weeks ago to replace Milano. Those quick slants are hard to defend.
Yeah.
And Milano does a great job covering the tight ends and the running back. So that's a lot to make up for. But where I think Dodson is a little bigger than Milano, and he did bring the quarterback down on his debut. So the more reps you get with a starting team, I think the better you're going to be. So I would like to see Milano play, but I think Dodson Dotson's a good fill. I think he can. I think he can play the run a little better too.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is going to be huge. We'll talk about that a little bit later. That run game is going to be huge to stop against the Tennessee Titans, and they have Jonnu Smith, who's their tight end, who's a pretty good tight end. So Milano, if he can't go, he's going to be surely missed again. Scott, I want to just touch base back on last week. We had the Fandemonium vote on who they thought the biggest concern was going to be, and like us, they thought Josh Jacobs, and we shut him down. 15 carries for 48 yards, 3.2 yards a carry. So we shut him down. I also want to give a shout out to Quentin Jefferson for getting his first sack as a Buffalo Bill. Boom.
Strip sack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, man.
I mean, we're on pace now to get 36 sacks this year. Well, we got 44 last year. It's 8 less, but you're going to go 44 sacks and go 9-7, or get 38 sacks, 36 sacks and go 12-4, 13-3.
How many sacks do you say we have already?
We have 9.
9 in 4 games, so a little over 2 a game. And like you said, we haven't had any really good blitz packaging set up. So that's pretty good, I think, from what I read or from what I saw. I think we're ranked 8th in sacks. So we're still up there. But, like, it's a different league. It's a different game because there's no crowd. Guys, 30-23, Buffalo Bills beat the Las Vegas Raiders 4-0. All right. Week 4 is over. Now, we're on to week 5. We have to go to Tennessee, COVID-stricken Titans.
Are we on to week 5 yet? Do we know?
As of right now, Monday, there are 0 COVID positive tests in Tennessee. I think from what I've heard, they have to go. They're going to test every day. So as long as they're free, we're going to be good to go. The fact that I think prior to today, they had somebody test positive 6 days in a row. But
Get them out of there.
Now, Monday, no test. And who knows what's going to happen if somebody does test positive. The NFL will work it out, we hope. But let's talk like we're going to actually play them. Then we can end the show now. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Can we start all the rumors that Henry's the one that has COVID, and Tannenhill and Hollywood, those 3 dudes, Clowney, they all have it?
Sure.
Man.
Good.
And they're going to play the game regardless because they can't give them another bye week. That'd be fun.
See, that's messed up. Like, I was wondering about this really quick before we get into the scenario where we actually play them. You got guys that legitimately thought about opting out, big name guys like Tre'Davious White. So now the Bills are put in this position where they're the first team that is really like faced with the biggest screw up team that messed up all their COVID regulations and didn't wear their tracers and all that stuff. And they're going to get fined hard by the NFL. Like they're going to make a huge example out of them. And it's just stupid. It seems like this like old school mentality, like somebody that was high up was just like, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Right. And just let it go. And it seems like the majority of the league is taking it seriously. The Bills are definitely taking it seriously. You know, so now you have this team who is 4-0 going to Tennessee, where there was 13 cases at one point. So I was wondering, are people like Tre'Davious White, like they're going to have to sit down as a team, I'm assuming, and talk about this and really get it out. I'm sure they pushed it aside until yesterday, like after yesterday was over. But now they're going to have to sit down and talk about, like, realistically, do we want to expose ourselves to what's going on down there? I'm wondering, do you think a guy like Tre'Davious White's going to step up and be like, look, I'm not going down there? You know what I mean? There's too much going on. I don't want to put myself at risk. This is what this was all about. Like, I don't want to go.
Yeah, as long as everybody played by the rules and did what they were supposed to, that's why I opted in, because,
exactly.
The protocol. And as long as everyone follows the protocol, then I'm all set. But then when you have the Tennessee Titans who are investigated by the NFL, they're thinking that the NFL is going to make an example of them. Then you have a team like that, then you have to play them a week after they got a game canceled.
Yeah.
Yeah, the reason why I didn't want to almost play is because of this possibility, and now it's right here in front of us. What do you do? And yeah, that's a hard question to ask. I mean, it'd be nice. I wonder if anybody's going to interview these players and ask them,
Yeah.
what are your thoughts? It's scary.
I mean, is there like
Wouldn't
a
this be crazy? Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I say, do you think it's a possibility that, McDermott being who he is, and I know how competitive the team is, I know how much everybody wants to play, obviously, because they opted in. But do you think that if it gets serious enough that they have a vote and they vote on whether they want to forfeit or not? You know what I mean?
We've talked on shows prior of how the communication level in this organization is significant. It's huge.
Yeah.
And they trust one another. Not only do they trust the process, but they trust everybody in that organization. So I wouldn't put it past McDermott and Bean to set something up like this and just say, guys, we want to be completely honest with you, and we want you to be completely honest with us. We are going into hot territory right now, to a team that broke the rules, knowingly broke the rules. Do you want to put yourself at risk? And it's hard to say if the NFL is going to go, if the Bills decide not to, if they're just going to give the Bills a loss for a forfeit. They're not going to give the Titans another bye week.
Yeah.
Or,
See, and that's complete like I was gonna say, it's bogus, man. Like the way the Bills have conducted themselves for this, like since McDermott and Bean walked in the door, let alone like all the COVID stuff. Like if they are punished either by A, having to forfeit, or B, going down there, this will be the other scenario that I'll lose my mind. And I promise, Jared, after we get all this out, we can go to I won't say another word about it and we'll act like they're going to play and everything will be good. But if they come back, if any one of them come back from Tennessee and test positive, dude, I'm going to lose my mind. Like, completely lose my mind. And everyone on that team should lose their mind. Yeah. And completely point fingers at the NFL and that organization for not handling themselves in a manner which was already laid out for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if they're investigating them, here's what they should do. And maybe if they listen to the K-Gun report, they might have a good protocol.
Yeah, right.
The players and the staff who have tested positive need to stay away from the game for a couple weeks, right? Continue to test the other players. If by Friday they're still all negative, game on. But the 13 or 16 individuals who tested positive, they still need to stay away.
Yeah.
This is the reason why they increased the number of practice squad people. This is the reason why they increased some of a lot of stuff this season. Just in case something like this happens, this is why we kept Fromm. Just in case something happens to our quarterbacks, we have somebody to play.
Right.
Tennessee, you have guys who have it. Keep them quarantined away from everybody. You still play. This is on you. This is not on the NFL. You take responsibility for your mistakes. You're still playing. You're going to go out there. You have a 3-0 record. You're going to put that up against a 4-0 record. You're going to chance your loss. That's on you.
Yep.
Play the guys who are tested negative that haven't tested positive and sit the ones who have.
Yep.
Right.
That's right.
So
Play the game still. You can play the game still. You just have to keep those people away from the facilities and other teams.
Well, a normal person has to quarantine for 14 days, right? So, like, yeah. I don't understand how, it was just like, real quick, I'm going to use the Patriots example, but congratulations, boys. We have a 2-game lead in the AFC East currently.
26-10. Patriots
Cheers.
win.
Patriots. Chiefs win.
Chiefs win. Yeah.
Well, hold on. Where is it?
There you go. So when the Patriots had their whole thing with Cam, which will be interesting to see how that all sorts out, right? They flew 2 planes out there, and one plane had 20 players on it that were in known contact with Cam Newton, and then the rest of the team. Like, what kind of sense does that make? That those 20 players didn't interact with anybody else from the team on the other plane? Like, that's impossible. No way. And then you're going to go to the hotel, and they said like they're going to hang out there for a couple hours, and then they're going to go to the stadium. Where's the science in the incubation period? So you guys hang out in your rooms, and then hopefully all the COVID just evaporates, and then you go play a team where you're going to sweat on each other and bleed on each other and do whatever. You know, I don't know. It just it's really weird. I mean, it's a super weird time, and I'm not trying to like poke fun at anybody who's trying to make a legitimate decision to make things better, but it just seems like some of this stuff is like out there. You know what I mean? Like flying 2 planes with a group of people who hung out with a quarterback who tested positive, like to keep them separated and then making them all meet up once they get there. It doesn't, like, what does that prevent?
Why do they have the tracking protocol, right? If
Yeah.
you've been at Walmart and you had COVID, now you got to call Walmart and say, hey, if you know anybody that's been there between 4 and 5 o'clock on Tuesday, you got to let them know that they were in contact with someone with COVID.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, those 2 planes full of players, you guys have been in contact.
Yeah.
Let's play it like it's different. Maybe if we say it in the news that 2 different planes went, then people might think, oh, they've been isolated again, away from each other. I don't know.
Dude, how shitty is it for the pilot in the 20 person plane? It's like,
Yeah.
don't touch me, don't touch me.
Yeah, open up your windows.
Oh gosh. Okay.
All right.
We're playing the game. All right. We're gonna
All
act
right,
like we're playing.
yeah, that's
the game.
it. That's all the COVID stuff. Yeah.
Guys, is there anything that concerns you about this game? I mean, both teams are, well, not both, but the Titans are 3-0. The games that they've been in have been pretty close and high-scoring games at that. But is there any concerns that jump out right now, off the top of your head, that get you going for this game? Scott, I'm gonna let you lead the way.
Real quick, they're 3-0, and you hate to knock a schedule because I kind of defended the Bills when they played the Jets and the Dolphins first, but they beat up on Denver, they beat up on Jacksonville, and they just barely squeaked by. Well, they just barely squeaked by Jacksonville, and they just barely squeaked by the Vikings. So, not very good contenders they were playing against. But if I'm gonna say anything that makes me nervous, you always have to worry about Derrick Henry. The guy is a bruiser, and other than last week, with what our rushing defense has shown to do, it's a bit of a concern. And Tannehill, I mean, the Titans have brought him back to life. I mean, he was an all-pro quarterback last year, and he's doing the same thing again this year. He's got stellar wide receivers in Corey Davis and A.J. Brown, who I think is injured right now, questionable. But he's got some weapons. And Jonnu Smith again as their tight end. But the Derrick Henry is always going to be a concern. We see that he can he's a thumper, and he can also, when he gets in the open field, he can take it all away. Their defense is pretty stout too, guys. We're playing a 3-4 defense again against the Titans. So they've got decent linebackers. They have Jadeveon Clowney.
Yeah, he scares me.
Yep, and then they have their safeties are good with Vaccaro, and their corners are pretty stout. So it'll be another full, complete team that they're playing against this week.
What Well, I guess, what do you think, Scott, as far as the secondary goes and the linebacking core? Like, we all know what, Clown. I don't know if we know what Clowney can do, to be honest. I mean, he's been hurt and moved around so much and all that stuff. But still, when he's on the field, he's a threat for sure. How do you think that this secondary and linebacking core stacks up compared to the Rams? Or, I know the Raiders were banged up, but like their secondary and linebacking core too.
Okay, well, we can kind of compare them a little bit. 4-3 defense versus a 3-4, but if we're going secondary, I can tell you that Malcolm Butler, the ex-Patriots, their left corner, and he always seems to make plays.
Mm-hmm.
And Jonathan Joseph, who's an old veteran, is playing on the other side. Not sure how he's doing this year, but this team's only allowing 18 points a game, so they're doing something all right in that defensive backfield. And their all-pro safety is Kevin Byard. He's an all-pro. He's another one of those hard hitters like Abram and
Jamal Adams.
Jamal Adams and all them.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say this is probably the best defensive secondary we're playing against. Miami could have been there, but Byron Jones got hurt quick right off the bat, and we took advantage of that.
Yep.
But as far as safeties and corners, I think they're all around good. Like I said, I'm on this whole Bills wide receivers are elite thing, so they need to show up against our Bills wide receivers.
And that's kind of where I was getting at with this is that, if this is like a premier secondary, I want the Bills to show up, and I want them to challenge it, and I think Josh Allen won't shy away from that. And I'm sure good corners, good secondaries, all that stuff, they're gonna study and see what he's apt to do. But we saw on Sunday, man, there was some real tight coverage and then some really pretty balls thrown. I mean, that John Brown catch, Stephon Diggs, like that Beasley catch on the side, the one where he pinwheeled into the end zone. There was some you have dudes on this team that are going to go up and get the ball, and they know how to do it.
Well, it's all because remember what I said. What's Josh Allen doing as a good quarterback? He's placing the balls where only the wide receivers can make the play.
Yeah,
and he'll still do that no matter who they're playing.
Yeah.
So
I'm all about it. I mean, I want him to challenge them, and I still think that through all of this, their identity is this passing offense, which is so exciting and awesome. But Motor is still chugging out yards, and they really haven't even opened it up yet. That's like
He's
a
still
secret.
fresh.
Yeah. Yeah, he's still fresh. I mean, he does that little giddy up high step right at the end of his runs to try and juke him, and it's like, I think he can really do some damage still. And then Zach Moss comes back from the turf toe. You could be still in week 5. Nobody has any idea what your run identity is yet.
I wanted to make a point of that we know that they're still running. Jared mentioned it earlier. A little over 40% running plays still consistently.
Yeah.
And with Singletary, you take a look at the run plays; they're still pretty vanilla. I mean, there's nothing crazy about the run designs that they're coming up with. They're just picking them.
Dive and drives. Yep.
They're picking them at the right times. And you're right. If you're successful with vanilla, don't show them what you got and just keep playing that way. And if you have to bring out something special, bring it out.
And the special thing they've been bringing out is the jet sweep, right? And they keep, I loved
they held that back for a while.
Yeah, they did.
They didn't need to use it.
But yesterday, they kept putting McKenzie in motion, like he was doing it. Like the first 2 series, he was doing nothing but that for at least 2 snaps out of every down, and
which I like to see personally. I like to see.
I do too. Yeah, all that confusion and misdirection, and then what happened? The one time you gave it to him, he got a 4th and 1 and 10, 12 yards more than that. So
and it's one of the easiest ways to find out if they're running a man defense versus his own.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's that's exciting to me. As far as what I'm worried about, I mean, that offense. We were talking about the tackle, the big mouth tackle, Lawan, is that his name?
Yep.
Him possibly being out, that would probably be a good thing. Of course, the 2 dudes on our defensive line that had the biggest problem with him are gone now, so I don't know. But I did want to bring up a point as far as the rush defense. There was a lot of talk about Horrible Harry and where he was recouping and how he's performing on the field. And Leslie Frazier made a couple comments about it and kind of alluded to the fact that maybe he wasn't healed all the way. But then yesterday happened, and all I heard was praise for Horrible Harry. And he really did his job, ate up 2 linemen, hit those gaps, did what he needed to do in the run D. So hopefully that's gelling more. And, I mean, this week we're going to need that for sure. I mean,
yeah. And you need to have your head on a swivel, guys, because if you're coming off those blocks, you got a 240-pound running back coming your way.
Yeah.
Full bore.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's no joke, man. But, yeah, that's about it, I think.
Now the one thing that differs between the Titans and the Raiders from last week, Jared, is remember I threw out about 60% of Carr's passes went to either Renfro, Waller, or Jacobs.
Yeah, that's the same thing for these guys.
Well, but Tannehill does throw it. Humphreys and Corey Davis each have 20 targets, along with Jonu Smith. So out of his 104 pass attempts, 60 of them are split perfectly between those three.
Oh, yeah.
Now I had Adam Humphreys is injured this week. I think a lot of the people that have the out tagged on their name might potentially be those COVID players. But I mean, that's one of those quick slot receivers, Adam Humphreys, that it would be nice if he wasn't playing. But
He's always good. He's like,
but if you got AJ Brown and Corey Davis, those are two big threats on that outside.
Yeah.
Big ones, big bodied.
So I mean, what do you do? I mean, obviously you put Tre'Davious on one of those guys, and then Josh Norman with a little help over top with either Poyer or Hyde. You know, like, I don't know. It's Tannenhill. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about Tannenhill. I know what he can do. I know we've played him a million times, and one of the things that really gives me a little bit of hope is that, like, this coaching staff and a lot of these players have played him a couple times a year for at least 2 seasons, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before it got blown up down there by Mr. Adam Gase. But that old Tannenhill's still in there somewhere, right? like you know, maybe our secondary can draw that out of him. And if you get that extra spark from a guy like Josh Norman hyping people up, who knows, man? Like I said, the second half of that football game yesterday looked completely different on the defense than the first half. You know, so hopefully he goes out there and just gets him going. And then
So we mentioned Derrick Henry. He definitely gets the workload for the running back. I mean, he averages more than 25 carries a game. And then the next individual with the most carries is Tannehill, which is kind of like Singletary and Josh Allen.
Mm-hmm.
But then the next is a wide receiver, and then the next is a running back who I think only has 5 carries. Derrick Henry is going to be the guy who gets the workload, going to get the carries. That being said, I think Tannehill's success is going to come off of Henry's workload. Henry only averages 3.9 yards a carry, but they still feed him the ball, so they're going to keep thumping. If we can get him under control right away, I don't think we have to worry about Tannehill.
Yeah.
Enter Tremaine Edmonds.
Last game.
Yeah. I don't know.
You're gonna see some helmets clashing between Tremaine Edmonds and Henry.
Yeah, this is going to be a physical game.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, the Raiders game's a perfect warm-up for them because those guys, as dirty as they are, all they did was hit. And after the whistle, through the whistle, I mean, it was a bloodbath yesterday. I mean, Abrams, man. Oh, God. I watched that Hard Knocks with him, and I was just like, I liked him. You know, he was feisty. He liked to play. He was really all about getting to the part in training camp where they could hit each other. And I was thinking, like, that's the kind of player I want on the Bills. And then yesterday, I was just like, God, I hate him. Like, I hate him.
He got a helmet contact penalty, didn't he?
Well, he almost knocked himself out of the game because he was leading with his helmet, and he had to sit out a couple plays, and then he went back out. And then it's like, anytime Stephon Diggs was anywhere around him, he was over there in his face or he was shoving him. After that big catch that he had, he ran down there because
got to him.
Yeah, exactly. Got in his face, started jawing, and it's like the dude just put up a 47-yard pass, like a catch against one of your secondary players that was incredible. And he came up jawing and celebrating, and you want to go over there and shove him and get in his face about it. And I'm like, I don't know, man. It's interesting.
That's why I said it's good to have the leaders on your team, but when those leaders have that spunk, have that fire to jaw back, that's intimidating, especially when you have elite leaders, elite jaw talkers. You know, because Josh Norman's one of the best ones that's going to get in your face and talk to you. Diggs is one of those guys who plays and shows you his leadership, but also he talks it. So I'm glad we have our quiet guys, and I like our quiet guys, but you got to have those guys in there with the fire that's going to get under somebody's butt just to loosen it up a little bit.
But, you know, Norman and Diggs, they are chatting, and I like the way they're doing it. You know, they're speaking their piece, but they're not putting their hands on anybody. They're not
Nope.
swinging or anything like
Nope.
that. But I will say it is a lot easier to not swing and lose your head when you're winning. So
Oh yeah.
you hate to see when the tides are going to turn for Buffalo, when they may lose 1 or 2 games, to see how they start acting then. But right now, the professionalism. I play football. I'm going to catch the ball. I may talk a little bit to you, but I'm not going to put myself at risk for getting a stupid 15-yard penalty.
That's
Don't
where
hurt
those-
the team. Yeah, you don't hurt the
That's when
team.
those quietly will step up.
Look at Ramsey. You know, Ramsey
He
and
got,
Tate.
he got in a fight. They got in a fight after the game.
Huge
yesterday.
fight, and they won. The Rams won, and he got in a
Yeah.
big fight with Golden Tate, and apparently it's like all this off-field drama BS with like he knocked up Tate's younger sister or something and whatever. But how can you do that to your team, dude? You're a millionaire. You're a millionaire doing something that like 0.01% of people in America get to do, and you're gonna
Fight someone.
fight
fist
somebody like over nothing, you know.
Right.
Ah, God, it drives me crazy.
Guys, I just want to end a little bit with this defense. The fact that Tennessee Titans have let up 25 points a game. If you were, as you guys were talking about the defense and their secondary, Scott, for some reason, the only thing that stuck with me is, man, but they got to play our offense.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what the keys to success are for any game this year? Josh Allen's our quarterback.
Yeah,
You know?
isn't that such a
Then-
good feeling, man?
Yeah, but we have Josh Allen as our quarterback.
And
Even
and
when he's
I
down,
know, I know the Titans are 3-0. I know they're undefeated still, but their defense still is allowing over
25. Yeah.
5 yards a carry.
Okay.
So Josh Allen in the passing game is huge, but we cannot forget that the running backs are averaging over 5 yards a carry. So and with the secondary, like I said, with the Titans have, I'm going to sit back and watch what the game plan that the ball has, because he's amazing me every week.
Yeah.
And this offense is exciting.
Yeah, it really is.
Say the least.
But yeah, now we can start talking. The Bills fans start believing that it's not what kind of defense we're playing. It's like these defenses now have to play our offense, because I firmly believe that our Buffalo Bills now, it used to be we need to drive, we need to score, blah blah blah. I think they can score at any time. They're one of those offenses that can make that 40-yard play and change the game like that at any time.
Yeah, but they can drive too. They can drive, take up
Yep.
time. Then they have the ability to score.
Stretch it
Bam.
out. Yep.
And huge prop outs. I want to say, hey, to the Buffalo Bills offensive line, because without that, none of this would be happening. They are playing outstanding. And we had Winters go out last week or this past week, and Quentin Spain stepped right in. He did a pretty good job. But we have the depth. But that O line is hammering it. I love it.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead. Anybody else got anything to say about the game?
Just excited for it. Hope everybody stays healthy and we come back 5-0.
We'll keep everyone updated throughout the week. What we hear, we'll definitely be posting it on our page. All right, let's do it. Let's do bold predictions and scores for the Buffalo Bills Tennessee Titans football game. Anybody want to go first?
I'll go first. I'm gonna say that the Bills win. We go 5-0. I think that we're gonna put up 27, and I think that we're gonna hold them to 17. So 27-17, Buffalo Bills. And for a bold prediction, I'm gonna say that both of our safeties each get an interception.
That was mine last week.
Was it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Didn't
Well,
happen though. So
didn't happen. So man,
still
mine
pretty
half
bold.
happened, man. Josh Norman,
I love
fumble.
how you said Buffalo Bills.
Bills.
Because I don't know if you saw Josh Norman's video to the Mafia.
I did.
At the end, he
Yeah.
goes, Go Bills.
Go Bills.
All right, Scott, give me your bold and score.
As much as I would like to see the Bills score 30 points again, that secondary is pretty taut. So I'm going 21-10. I think our defensive team found its rhythm in the fourth quarter against a good passing Raiders team, and I think they held Jacobs rushing 15 carries, 40-something yards or whatever it was. I mean, it's still only 3 yards a carry, so 3.2. I think our defense has found its niche. I think we can, like Swank said yesterday, they always do that 3-game kind of woe in the middle of the season, and it potentially could have been just the first 3-4 games this year. So our defense has found its niche. I think they're only going to allow 10 points. I do think Allen doesn't get Allen and the offense don't score their 30 points. So 21-10. And my bold prediction will be, only because it hasn't happened and they don't run the ball a lot, I think Singletary will get his 100-yard rushing game for the first time this year.
Hell yeah.
Speaking of Singletary, let's get another hey out to the running backs. You got the first.
First touchdown.
No, this is funny. So with my score prediction, I think because they average 25, I think they're going to score a lot. I think it's going to be 42-10. That's my final.
No. Is that your bold prediction too?
Bold?
Hey man, I love it. I hope it's 42-10. I love it.
I think they're going to dominate.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, I was going to say I hope that they just keep throwing deep bombs so that all the wide receivers can maintain 6 feet of distance from the cornerbacks and not catch the COVID in the end zone,
And so I know Josh Allen's had a hell of a season already. He's had multiple 300-yard games.
Yeah.
But if you look at the Dallas Cowboys, right? You got Prescott throwing for 500 yards, 400 yards.
Because he has to.
And losing.
Right, what's their record?
1-2, 1-3.
So to all you guys who think you have to have a 300-yard passer, there you go. Anyway, 42-10. You'd think I'd have Allen going over 300, but I'm hoping it's a big rushing game. And I'm going to go back to my bold prediction I did a couple weeks ago with your guy, Andre Roberts, will finally break one.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right. So
All right.
let's do the AFC East. First, I'm going to break it out to everybody. As of right now, actually Chiefs won.
Chiefs won, dude. So these, I just put the picks, the record picks up here for the admin pick'ems,
Okay.
and so we have to add. I think all of us picked the Chiefs, right?
Yep. So Scott and Swank are 8-3 with AFC East games.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good, guys. I'm sitting back by myself at 7-4.
Hey,
Let's go with the AFC East. Then
admirable.
we'll get to the NFL teams that we want to do. So AFC East, the Cardinals are traveling to New York to play the Jets. Scott, who do you got for that one?
Do it.
I can't.
I don't know, man. Hey, Darnold looked pretty good.
Yes.
He did. And you'll never hear me say that, but he was trying to Josh Allen rookie season his way through that Denver game, and he almost did it. That big break that he did and a couple good passes, but then he got sacked by one of my favorite tweets was he got sacked by Monte Teo's girlfriend.
The ghost. Remember, he sees ghost guys, so he gets
yeah. Well, and Monte Teo got catfished, so she was fake. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah. I forgot about linebacker, right? Number 50 for the name.
Yeah.
Who do you play?
Chargers, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know if he's still in the league. I liked him too, man. It sucks.
No.
It sucks that like him and Tunsil, right? Tunsil's dad like sabotaged him and all that stuff.
Man, these guys. Jared, who you got?
Cardinals then?
Swank, you pick Cardinals?
I haven't picked yet. You want me to pick?
No.
Oh, I'm going to shock the world. You ready? Cardinals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You made me erase it, damn you. All right. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think the Jets are strong enough to deal with that quarterback over there, Murray. He's showing some potential. He's going to be dating. I'm glad he's not in the AFC. All right.
Yeah.
Dolphins travel to the West Coast to play the 49ers. Swank, I'm going to let you lead this one. Dolphins, 49ers. Who you got?
Is Garoppolo back or no?
I don't think so.
Okay. You know what, man? Fitzy's due. He's due for one. I'm going Dolphins on this one.
Yep. I'm going Dolphins too.
Yep, you're not pulling away from this one, guys. I got Dolphins going there too.
Son of a bitch.
All right, here's going to be a good one. Broncos travel to New England.
Oh,
Play on-
God. The 2-2 New England Patriots, huh? You're up, Scott.
Remember, they're playing in New England.
Broncos.
Jared, you pick Broncos?
I got to take a chance. I'm behind.
Ooh.
Broncos.
Ooh.
I'm going Pats. Pats don't lose 2 in a row, especially since the second game is at home.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going Patriots on that one.
Yep.
Is Cam coming back?
Probably.
No, he's probably done. He's still got it. There it is. All right, so we're all over. Scott, I don't know what the game is tonight. I think you have Atlanta upsetting Green Bay, and I don't know what the score is right now.
Oh, well, I had that up here. Hold on just 1 second because I've
That's
been
not happening.
streaking.
We're 0-4 going into this. So.
You have Atlanta upsetting the Packers, and
Yep.
currently the Falcons
They have 3 points.
at
too.
halftime have 3 points,
Yeah.
and the Packers have 20.
Yeah.
So
Well, maybe they can do what they haven't been able to do in the last 2 weeks. Maybe switch watch and make a great comeback. We'll
There you
see.
go.
maybe.
All right, give me upsets of the week or your toilet bowls of the week, or just give me one game of the week. Put a label on it. Scott, go ahead. What's your game of the week?
Burrow number 2.
Ooh.
Cincinnati. Hey, I got a fantasy guy, Joe Mixon, that tore it up this week, and I think Burrow is finally understanding what he has in that running back. So I think they'll use him. I think the Ravens, they can be beat. We saw that. So Bengals with the upset. Burrow is going to upset the Ravens.
That's
He's
pretty
got
gnarly.
He's got T. Higgins he's trusting too, and they still got A.J. Green over there, and now he's trusting Joe Mixon.
That should have been
my
your
upset.
bold prediction, man.
All right, Bengals over Ravens.
All right, I'm going to throw mine out there before you swank.
Sure.
I have the Chicago Bears. Bears.
Chicago.
They're going to beat Brady. Buccaneers, their time's coming. I mean, O.J. Howard's out for the season. Gronk's going to be playing now, I think. He's going to be starting.
Yeah.
He did make a good catch, but I have the Bears beating the Buccaneers. The Bears. All right.
Did you guys watch that game? A lot of Patriot-esque plays happened
Yeah.
last week, like that fumble right at the 2-yard line to give the Tampa Bay Buccaneers the ball right before half and score a touchdown. That stuff just happens to Brady. I'm tired of watching it.
Yeah.
And that catch that should have been an interception to Gronkowski that they called for the
Yeah. The Gronk
same
interception.
Same play, yeah.
Same
But
exact play.
very Patriot-esque plays happening for Brady and the Buccaneers. But go ahead, Swank. You got the toilet bowl of the week. What you going with?
All right, so here's the thing. I'm gonna let you guys pick which toilet bowl because there's 2 toilet bowl games going on this week. The
All right,
first
I don't have
one.
my computer up, so yeah. Okay.
No, I'll
Yep,
tell you
got
what they are. Yeah. So the first one is between the Jacksonville Jaguars,
Yeah, go black.
who are 1-3, against the recently coachless 0-4 Texans. Okay.
Oh.
But the second one, which is a 425 game, features 2 of the basement dwellers in the NFC least, with the New York Giants and the Dallas Cowgirls. The Giants are 0-4 and the Cowboys are 1-3. So I'll pick whichever of those 2 games you guys want me to pick.
Yeah, don't go for the Giants and Cowboys. Cowboys are probably going to just destroy them. Giants haven't been.
Yeah? Giants hung in with the Rams.
Just don't waste your time on the NFC East.
I like it.
It's garbage.
Well, that's what the toilet bowl is, man. It's the garbage.
But a 6-10 team is going to make the playoffs, and that just that disgusts me.
I know.
Guys,
it's going to be bad.
That you probably want to know is what the record of an interim head coach is coming in. Usually, depending on who it is, usually the team's fired up.
Yeah.
So I would go for that Houston game. I'd probably pick Houston.
Well, so you guys want me to pick the Jaguars
Yeah,
and the Texans game? All right. I am going to go with the Jaguars on that game, and I'll tell you why. Because the Texans should not have came back and beat us in the goddamn wild card last year. That's the only thing I'm basing it on. Deshaun Watson is amazing. But, man, Minshew, he's going to come in with that Minshew mustache. And I think he's going to do it up in Houston. They're going to get even more embarrassed. J.J. Watt's going to cry. It's going to be great. So, Jaguars over the Texans. And if you noticed, loyal 24/7 BF fam viewers, I am currently 0-4 in my pick'ems outside of the AFC East.
I am too.
Same here.
So maybe,
guys.
start picking different.
Mhm.
I don't know what to do, but maybe I pick a team that I don't like and bet them to win.
Well, listen, like
Well, Swain goes toilet bowl. I always go worst team versus best record
Yeah.
scenario. So
yeah, so you play it the smart way, and I play it the goofy way, and we still got the same record.
Jared just can't pick him. You should see his fantasy football team. It's a trend.
Ah,
No, but here, all kidding aside, I scored quite a bit of points in my fantasy football team. I just played Scott over here. Where are you?
yeah,
But,
that's right.
Who ran away with the league, almost scoring 200 points. So
Yep.
I'm
All
0
right.
4. I'm 0 4 there too.
There you go.
All right, guys. Next week, I just want to throw this out there really quick. We're going to be back on Tuesday at 9:30.
You?
We just had some scheduling conflicts that we were all agreed to get back on Monday, which worked out. We're all here.
Yeah.
So happy Monday. Enjoy the rest of the game tonight. If it's still going. Any closing thoughts, Scott, before we head out for the evening?
I do, and it's not to fans of football or anything like that. It's actually to NFL football teams and their players. You want to be an example, and you want to, be our heroes and all that stuff. Follow the rules. It's not just the players; it's the coaches. It's the people that are in the office. Follow the rules. You don't want to get people sick. Just do what we're told. The NFL has a great plan. There's a reason why only one team messed up and why they're sick is because they didn't follow the rules. The fans want to watch football this year. We would hate for stupidity to take over and lose a season. So do it for the fans, if anybody else.
It's pretty strong. I like that. I agree with
Me
you.
too, man.
It's annoying. It's as easy as following the rules.
Can you
Wear your
imagine
mask.
though, being a kid watching the game with their father or their mom and saying, "Why didn't my team play this week?" And
Yeah.
well, they didn't follow the rules.
They didn't
Simple as
listen.
that. Yep.
How pissed is Eric Gordner?
And he's pretty angry.
I bet.
His team is following the rules. His team is following the rules, and now they have to waste a bye week on week 4.
Right, because the Steelers followed the rules. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
team-
So you want to set an example? Give the Steelers the win. Give the Titans the loss, and then there it is.
I like
You got
that, and then extend it to this week, and then give the Bills the win and the Titans the loss again,
Yep.
and give the Bills 2 weeks to prepare for the Chiefs. I like the way you think, Scott.
Kids, don't pay attention to the Titans. Listen to your parents. Listen to your adults. And follow the rules.
Titans, dude.
Keep closing thought.
Oh yeah, that was awesome.
Dan, I'm sorry. Sorry
what-
your team doesn't follow the rules, bud, but
My closing thoughts are to the BF fam. Enjoy this time, man. It's 4-0. We're a great team. We're fun to watch. I mean, it's very unlikely that we're going to go 16-0, right? Like that's what the odds say. I'm a big believer in the fact that like odds don't mean anything once the occurrence happens. So odds can be 1 in 3,000. If that one thing happens, then all of a sudden it's 100, right? It's 100%, 1 in 1.
Right.
So think that way. Be joyous, but understand that there's probably going to be a loss here or there. So right now, while we're 4-0, enjoy it,
Soak it in.
soak it in, be hyped that Stephon Diggs is Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen is Josh Allen, Josh Norman is coming in and being Josh Norman, and we have a good football team right now. And even if it doesn't end up by the end of the season that we have a good football team, right now we have a good football team. So believe in that and have fun watching games. Also, if you're enjoying what you're hearing, please join us on Tuesday nights at 9:30 on Facebook Live. Join the conversation. Join the Stampede. And if you can't catch us on Tuesday nights at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time, you can always catch us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor, and anywhere else that you listen to podcasts. And I'm going to try and get better about throwing these up on YouTube because I think I'm about an episode and a half behind. So other than
Half an
that,
episode? How's that happen?
Why are we
I
talking about-
only uploaded the part that I liked. So, yeah, thanks for hanging out. Thanks for listening and adjusting to our Monday schedule.
Thank you.
Yeah, like I said, we'll see you next Tuesday at the regular scheduled time at 9:30. And Justin, I want to kind of piggyback you on that one. It is, sports are a wonderful thing. You can watch them and you enjoy it week to week. If your ultimate goal is to win the Super Bowl and that's all you care about, then what's the sense of watching the games leading up to it? And if you're going to get angry that we're 4-0, don't watch it.
Yeah.
I mean, ultimately, you do want to win the Super Bowl, but you got to enjoy the ride. The ride's the most fun. And I'm glad I'm a Buffalo Bills fan, and I'm glad I get to sit here and talk football with you guys.
Hell yeah.
I wouldn't have it any other way. It's awesome.
Well, it's kind of like It's kind of like the bandwagon thing we were talking about, right? If you weren't there for all these years of heart-wrenching losses and all the stuff that we never say the name of, the wide rights, the 4 Super Bowls, the miracle, all that stuff. If you weren't there for all of that, when the drought happened, you didn't feel the way we felt. You know what I mean? When that happened, to the point where it's like a 17-year drought was lifted off of our shoulders. And I don't know about you guys, I didn't even care if they beat the Jaguars in that game. I wanted it, but I just didn't know how to act because literally them being in the playoffs hadn't happened in so long. I was just so happy.
You don't know how to act, right?
Yeah, exactly.
What do we do now?
I don't know. Tyrod didn't know how to act either. But but yeah, man, I mean it's a special feeling. You know what I mean? So it's I don't know. If you aren't now, you never were. Buffalo Bills. Go.
Go Bills.
Yeah, so going back to that poll, the majority of the people do welcome newbies. But if you join us and you leave, you'll never be welcome back.
Never.
That's for sure. And also another thing I want to jump on there, guys. If you ever see, this goes out to all Bills, Fandemonium, all Mafia. If you see something going on, if you're on another page and you see negative comments, don't do that person a favor. Stay away from it and don't talk about negative stuff. It's just going to add. That's what he wants. Anyway, everybody, thanks. Thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for joining us in the future. Like Swank said, you can listen to us on Spotify and other ways there. Anchor, Apple. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We love you guys, and we love the Fandemonium. We love talking football. We encourage you just to keep the conversation going. Guys, thank you. And on to the Tennessee Titans. Hope for a 5-0 start. Go Bills.
Go Bills.
Go Bills.